Hey guys, welcome back to the Locker Room Lingo podcast. This is episode 3. We're your hosts, Matthew, Dylan, and Luca. And in this episode, we're going to go over some NFL free agency news, different free agents out there, what teams are going to be struggling next season. We're going to predict some of that. Going to talk quickly about some NFL skill competition and the lack of talent out there with the Pro Bowl. Get some WWE news in here, and then maybe some NBA stuff too if we have time. So let's just start with I think a fun topic. I mean, we kind of discussed last week how there's not really any games this weekend, so we're gonna have a lack of, actual games to talk about. So we kind of had to be creative. Luca, do you want to get into the struggling teams first? I know it's your idea there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right into the struggling teams. There's a lot of teams.
Just the teams next season.
Yeah,
predictable.
teams that are gonna fall off a cliff. I mean, obviously everyone's talking about the Eagles, how they're gonna fall off. I don't think that's a ridiculous statement to make. The Bills are definitely a question mark unless they can get some pieces around there. I mean, they have Josh Allen, so that should be interesting. And the Vikings are another team of note. Those are 3 teams I can probably think of right now for sure. But let's get right to the Eagles, I guess.
The Eagles, yeah. I mean, Matthew, as the resident Eagles fan, what is your enthusiasm after the end of this season goes?
I mean, obviously a very disappointing end to the season this year. It was expected though, but I'm not gonna get into that right now.
No, it's not. It was not expected.
Everyone knows
I was expecting it 100%.
The 49ers made the blueprint.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks.
I went to that game.
I
went into that game with 0 expectations.
I know, but what a turn! I've never seen I mean, we talked about how the Jaguars fell off last week, but let's really get into the Eagles here. Let's not beat around the bush. They blew in the second half
Crazy.
of the season.
The biggest fall off.
Absolute chunks.
It's got to be studied. It's got to be studied. I mean, it's crazy how they fell off. I mean, they were a Super Bowl contender. They made the Super Bowl last year. They were the top team to beat. They're 6-0. Everyone's talking about the Eagles. The Eagles.
They're 8-0.
Yeah, 8-0. Sorry, yeah. And the 49ers spanked them. And after that, it's like they forgot how to play football.
They broke them.
They literally broke them.
After they played the 49ers, it was just like they just gave up. It felt like they gave up. Like they just forgot how to play football. I don't know how that happens, but regardless, they're gonna lose some people, some notable names.
Yeah, I want to point out some ages first, actually, before we get into free agents. Yeah. So first of all, aging. I mean, Lane Johnson, one of the best tackles in the league and on their team, is 33 years old, right? So I mean, you're looking at that scenario of him maybe retiring this year, if not, a couple of years from now. I mean, Trent Williams 37. Jason Kelce is obviously the most notable one. I mean, he might retire this season.
Yeah.
I mean, James Bradbury, he's doo-doo, but he's also 30 years old, so that plays a factor.
James Bradbury doesn't know how to play football.
Yeah. For Kevin Byard, I mean, he's also 30. I mean, just a lot. Darius Slay is also doo-doo, and he's 34. So there's a lot of players of note that you can just list off age-wise. That's a problem with the Eagles. And then not only that, contract-wise.
Fletcher Cox is also his contract's coming up.
Yeah.
Offensively, there was a lot of buzz around A.J. Brown. I don't think he's leaving. You see that interview on ESPN with him and Devontae Smith, and he's like, I don't know where anyone. He's like, you guys know something I don't about being traded.
Yeah.
He said that everyone's freaking out because he deleted his Instagram photos and unfollowed the Eagles and all that, but he said it was just a personal thing, it was just to grow as a person or whatever. So I don't think there's anything to people get stories and stuff, but yeah, I mean, offensively, I think it comes down to Jalen Hurts. Obviously, the O-line's taking a huge hit with tush push gone next season.
Yeah, that's over.
Jalen Hurts immediately regresses as a player, especially in fantasy, but it's going to be really interesting. He's going to have to step up as an actual football player and make some plays and cannot rely on getting first down conversions constantly. With tush pushes, he's not going to have Kelce there anymore. So I think that is a huge, there's not a single other O-lineman in the league leaving that impacts the team more than Jason Kelce because of how much that play has gotten them in the end zone.
Yeah.
And kept their drive alive.
And obviously he's blocking the
It's not confirmed that he's retiring.
Yeah, he might not retire, but...
No, but he's getting
old. He's old regardless.
I think even despite that, him staying, the offense, I mean, should still be fine. DeAndre Swift's, arguably top 10 running back. I mean, A.J. Brown is staying, obviously, and he's a top 5 receiver. Devontae Smith, another top 15 guy. The offense is still going to be fantastic. I'm assuming Lane Johnson will still play, obviously. And if Jason Kelce, if he plays, it's the defense that I'm worrying about. The Eagles' defense is atrocious. Let's outline that now. They have good interior linemen. Jalen Carter's unreal, rookie of the year this year, arguably. Jordan Davis is great in nose tackle, but the problem that comes with that secondary and how old it is. I mean, Darius Slay's obviously, like I said, doo-doo. Bradbury's doo-doo. Blankenship's pretty good, I guess. I mean, he had a pretty good season. I mean, Kelly Ringo could step up, but it's just a weak defense than what they had in the Super Bowl, and I think that's going to be their biggest weakness next year. And like Dylan said, Jalen Hurts has to step up if they are to come in and win games again. Is he that guy?
It's like even if Kelsey stays, it's like without the tush push, it automatically reduces their touchdown opportunity. But I think if you're a fantasy player, you're gonna want to get DeAndre Swift on your team next year.
Yeah, I mean, I had him obviously.
If they're getting rid of that.
I love that man.
Because he was already pretty efficient, but without that tush push there, you will not. I feel like I would kill myself if I had DeAndre Swift on my team last year, just having to watch get vultured by Jalen Hurts constantly. I mean, kind of had to deal with it with Kamara and freaking Taysom Hill, but not to that level.
I mean, they're definitely gonna need to look for some cornerbacks.
Secondary's in trouble.
Yeah.
And honestly, coaching seems to be an issue right now.
At the end of the game, I was like, I want him fired. I want him fired, but now it's like, now that it's passed, I'm like, okay, he brought us to the Super Bowl last year. He is a good coach.
He went 8-0. Like, it's not his fault. Bradbury can't cover somebody, but
it's just, I don't know. They gotta regroup.
Yeah, they gotta regroup. I also think it's also worth noting their draft pick and draft position. It's a very loaded cornerback class, and obviously, like I stated, their secondary is very bad. So you're looking at maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry if he falls. I mean, Quinion Mitchell's very good too. There's a lot of good cornerback prospects out there. Yeah, there's a man named Kool-Aid entering the draft. Yeah. So that's that. I mean, you got to draft him for that name. Oh yeah, man. I mean,
bust in.
Cooper Dijon too. He's actually the first white cornerback to be drafted in the first round if all goes to plan. Wow. So congratulations to him.
Cooper Dijon.
Cooper Dijon's his name. Very very good player from Iowa.
Dijon Mustard.
For real, a lot of funny names here, but. They're going to have a cornerback at pick number 22. If they can fix that secondary, bring in another pass rusher to pair with Jalen Carter, the Eagles should be fine. But, I mean, like I said, age is their biggest issue. Expiring contracts will eventually bite them. So we'll see what happens.
Like you said last podcast, it's easy to build around a good quarterback. So.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as Jalen...
Is he good, though?
That's the question.
As long as
is
he
stays,
good?
Is he a factor of the system, or is he good, right? That's the question that you got to ask.
He's made it to the Super Bowl.
Yes,
and, put up a good performance against Mahomes. So
yeah, he's a great.
He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, no one's saying he's bad, but is he on the level of Mahomes and Josh Allen to carry an offense? Right?
No, I'm not worried about the Bills that much because Josh Allen is there to kind of hold the ground.
I mean, I'm not going to that lengths yet. Like, I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts being not being a good.
Yeah, I know. I think all will still be. I mean, the Eagles may take a little back seat next season, but I do think they're starting to contend for a playoff spot. 100%.
They're gonna be like one of those like messier teams like that's not as perfect. Like they used to be like a juggernaut like the 49ers, where it's like everywhere is kind of like. I feel like when you look at the Eagles, it was like there was not a lot of holes. Like everything was pretty perfected, and they had a really good, strong team. I think they're still going to be like kind of almost like the Texans, like the Lions, where
they'll be in the playoffs. They'll be in the playoffs.
Power. They still have so much talent to like put up numbers. They'll win games, but it's going to be a lot of more battles than just blowouts than they used to have.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to be interesting too, for sure.
And they had a lot of close battles this season too.
Yeah,
the Cowboys and 49ers.
More second half.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up the Vikings because
right.
looking at top free agents, they got 2 in the top 12. Obviously, Kirk Cousins and Daniel Hunter. I think Kirk is a massively underrated quarterback. He's, to me, a big reason for the Vikings' success. And him leaving potentially is a huge blow to the whole team.
I don't think he leaves.
You don't think
I think Kirk Cousins stays 1,000%. I'd be like dumbfounded if he left the Vikings.
I think if they get to pay him, then yeah. But do they want to pay him? Because there was trade talk, right? So
yeah,
do they even want him?
That's a good point too. Like this guy he's a good quarterback. Let's not get this wrong. Kirk Cousins is a good, arguably great quarterback. The issue is they haven't done anything with him yet. I mean, you're gonna sign this guy for 5 years, paying him a ton of money, and him do the exact same thing he's done for the past 5 seasons there. I could see the situation where the Vikings say, we don't want to pay you, man. Kirk on his behalf will 1,000% resign if the offer is there.
Yeah, there's no. I think it's more. It's not. It's more about the Vikings. Do they want him? Because they have a young team. They got Addison. They got Jefferson. They got a bright future as far as the offense goes. Oh my god, I forget what's the young running back, really fast guy.
Oh, okay.
Can't remember his name, but I had him. Ty Chandler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think he's younger. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, like they got a young team. Their defense, like I said, Hunter leaving is a blow, but they're better than they used to be. I think.
They also have a decently high pick.
Yeah.
So that can definitely be of use to them in the draft.
It is a pretty good quarterback draft, right? So they could get a quarterback in there. I just can't see them winning a Super Bowl with Kirk there, but yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any other points? Like, even if they re-sign Kirk, do you think they're gonna struggle still? Like,
I mean, like it's you're doing the same thing over and over again. Like you're just showing, we're a solid team. We might make the playoffs, but you're not winning a Super Bowl. It's not gonna happen. I mean, like there's still a lot of holes in that team. Kirk Cousins can sign back all he wants, but he's brought you to the playoffs. He's brought you division titles, and nothing has happened, right? So it's like it is a situation where Minnesota might say we don't want this guy anymore. Like we want to get a more skilled quarterback in the draft with our number 12 pick or number 14 pick, I think, and see where that can take us, right? And I look at Daniel Hunter. He's definitely gone. I mean, I don't think Hunter resigns. I mean, he's been there for his entire career. He's been overlooked his entire career. No one's talking about him. He has his best season ever this season. So I see a very likely scenario he leaves. And at that point, you're going to have no star edge rusher now. And the defense is weak besides that. So, I don't know. They're in a bad position, I think, to say the least. I mean, do they rebuild? Yeah. Do they retool? It's interesting to be Minnesota Vikings.
Even if Kirk Cousins stays, like I don't see them getting over the hump in the playoffs and getting to the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. They have a lot of good pieces, obviously. Like good young players. Obviously, they're the best wide receiver in the league. But I just don't see them getting over the hump.
Yeah, they won't get over the hump. I mean, some guys are just capped off at a certain point, and it's like Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback, but sometimes it doesn't work out on a certain team. And I think this is a good segue into the Bears, which is that same scenario. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I mean, he could be a great quarterback still if he's on the right offense, right? And the Bears are an interesting team because of the pick they have. First overall pick, do you trade it? Do you draft Williams? Do you trade Fields? I think in that scenario, I would 1,000% trade Justin Fields because I think in that position, you're seeing a scenario where now you get to reset the rookie contract. You get Caleb Williams for another 4 years of $1 million, $2 million, right? You trade Fields. It's not working out there. He's done nothing in Chicago. Get him to a different team, see if he can progress, and see what happens. And that's the same scenario as the Vikings. Kirk Cousins can go to a different team and win a Super Bowl. I can see it happening, right? But it hasn't worked in Minnesota. Why keep trying and pay this guy $40 million again next season?
Yeah. Also, it's just like the Bears losing Jalen Johnson, losing key defensive pieces. But as far as the quarterback situation, do they not? They have 2 like top 10 picks.
They do. They have 9 and 1, and I think Jalen Johnson, if the right scenario happens, will resign in Chicago. I think that's definitely worth knowing.
Do you think there's a possibility they try to trade the pick down, right, and then just get what's his name? Oh my god.
Drake May?
Why am I blanking on the? No, not Drake May, the wide receiver.
Oh, Marvin Harrison. Yeah, I was actually talking.
Yeah, they get Marvin Harrison and then draft a quarterback later.
Yeah,
like
so
Daniels or something.
Here's a scenario that's interesting right now going around the NFL is that Washington just signed Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator, which is the offensive coordinator Caleb Williams had in Washington. So we don't know what's going on.
The Bears are rumored to get them.
I mean, there could be a scenario where Chicago says, listen, we like Justin Fields. We think we can win Justin Fields. We think if we give Justin Fields Marvin Harrison with DJ Moore, he could really be good. Let's trade this number 1 pick down to Washington for maybe their 2nd overall pick and a 2nd rounder maybe. And they could draft Marvin Harrison, another skill possession on defense, and they could be a real contending roster in a couple of years. I think that's a better scenario for Chicago.
I think it's better than completely restarting from
ground zero.
It's just like yeah, I mean Fields, like we saw him produce like that Denver game that you saw in person, right? Like he's like he connected with DJ Moore like
He also
before his injury. Like they had a stretch there where they were like
connected.
going, and like if you were to give him Marvin Harrison, and that would open up DJ Moore even more. Like that would be. I think Fields could produce in that.
Listen, I mean, I watched that game live in Chicago, and I can certainly tell
He's
he
messy,
blew,
but
he blew a massive lead, a 3-touchdown lead, and
Yeah.
he threw 2 interceptions that cost him the game. Fields is a
Actually, I'm talking
very
about the wrong game.
yeah. Fields is a he
I'm
connected
giving you like 50 fantasy.
Yeah, I know,
points.
but he did connect with DJ Moore that game for like 150 yards, I think. So it was a big game still. But Fields has a lot of problems. So he's shown he can make plays on his legs. His arm is still very underdeveloped, and at this point, 4 years into his career, how are we going to say it can develop? I mean, you can give him all the stars you want. The issue is he going to be able to win football games? He can look flashy when he wants on his legs. We've seen Michael Vick play football before. He never won any football games. So it makes the point that is this guy ever going to progress? Or is it his time as a starter in Chicago done? And maybe he has a chance in Atlanta, but can we even say that in Atlanta he'd shine, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lot of awareness or IQ. I feel like as far as, so he makes constantly bad decisions. Like that one classic, he's like no one rushing him, and he just throws it to just throws a pick six. Yeah, I think honestly for the Bears with those 2 picks, just get Caleb Williams. Just take him, get Caleb Williams, and then you can still get a good wide receiver with the other pick.
Yeah,
right, if you want a
even
wide receiver,
like Malik Neighbors is still available. He's a fantastic receiver. I mean, Udenzi is very good too. So like, you still have a lot of players available receiver wise at the number 9 pick that they can benefit from if they drafted Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I wanted to also bring up the Buccaneers.
That's a very interesting one.
As they are most likely losing Mike Evans.
But are they? But are they losing Mike Evans?
I would bet they are.
I don't think they are. I think Mike Evans really likes Baker Mayfield.
I hope he stays.
Listen, I think the Buccaneers are they're in a scenario right now where like, damn, like Baker Mayfield is that dude still. Baker Mayfield can win us games. He was that dude in Cleveland for a year, brought them to the playoffs. You get Baker Mayfield at quarterback still. You could even draft a quarterback late in the draft like Bo Nix if you want to have someone behind Baker, right? And you re-sign Mike Evans. Who's to say this team can't compete? They almost made the NFC Championship. Like, they almost had them, right? Like, there's a chance they could have beat the Lions there, right? They lost, but a scenario where they won that game. So Mike Evans has got to sit there and say, I've already won a Super Bowl. I'm already arguably one of the greatest receivers of all time. 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Why would I go somewhere else for bring chase? Why not stay in Tampa, see what I can do with this roster? They make some signings. I think Tampa could be a very dangerous team next season. I think people are really worried about Baker Mayfield. I'm not at all. I like Baker Mayfield a lot. I think he's a great quarterback. I think otherwise
I just think Mike Evans, like you said, Mike Evans is that good. He is that guy. I do like Baker. I'm not saying I don't, but I mean, Mike might want to change. He's been there his whole career, and like people are willing to pay him. Like,
100%.
He'll
get offered the bag. He's gonna get $100 million.
Yeah, and I mean, like the Chiefs. The Chiefs are like, I think, like they're gonna have cap space. They're losing a lot of guys. They're gonna want to bring guys in, and they're somehow in the Super Bowl still. But it would help Patrick Mahomes a lot if he didn't have to rely on Kadarius Toney to bring down. Mike Evans, and that would be a scary duo, and could get him pretty much a guaranteed Super Bowl.
I do think that more than likely, Antoine Winfield resigns. He's had an All-Pro season, so I think they're going to pay him at least $80 million if I were to assume. And I do think Mike Evans resigns too, if I were to talk about that. So I think we should stop with the teams now and just go to free agents at this point and see what we can,
I mean, Matthew, what do you
make
think?
up there. Unless Matthew.
I mean, I was gonna say about Mike Evans, like every year, I feel like people expect Mike Evans to start regressing, and it just never happens. Like this year, people didn't think that he was gonna click with Baker. I had him on my fantasy team, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, he was like a 7th round pick in fantasy. 7th round pick in fantasy.
Yeah, he was. But I don't think it was because of Mike Evans as a skilled player.
Yeah,
more
it was
just
Baker.
the quarterback situation. Because from going from Brady to Baker, right? But then Baker ended up putting up.
Yeah, I mean, but he's getting up there. I mean, he's 30. He's 30 years old. I mean, he's still a very good football player, and he still will be for a few years. And I love Mike Evans.
That's why I think you love him.
And I'll draft him again.
You love that guy. You're drafting him again next season.
I will. I will in Dynasty.
Were to go to If he were to go to a team like the Chiefs or something like that, like he would be like a first round pick.
Well, let's just
100%.
cover. Let's cover this fact.
First
Last
round,
season.
I wouldn't say first
Are
round.
you guys ready for this?
Potential late first round.
Are you ready for this?
Well,
Last season,
I'm ready.
okay. Last season, Mike Evans had 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
You before that, 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. A year before that, 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. All with Tom Brady.
I mean, he's just amazing.
This season,
Here's Jameis.
this season, he had 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. His most yards in a season since 2018, and his third most in a season of his 11-year career. With Baker
That's
Mayfield.
kind of crazy.
He led all receivers in touchdowns this season as well, 13. I mean, this is a guy that is not aging poorly at all. And I don't think quarterback's an issue with this guy. I mean, I don't know why people were concerned in the first. He hit Jameis Winston for his first, 6 seasons. Why were we concerned?
I mean, they're still a contending team. I mean, I don't see. He shouldn't leave. He shouldn't leave because he's clicked with his quarterback already.
Rashad White's like a building. He look like a star.
Yeah, he's building himself up. I love Tampa and I love Baker. I'm all for it. Go Buccaneers.
Yeah.
They're coming back next season. Fiery,
I like
ready to
the Bucs.
fucking go. That's the truth.
I just don't know if they do lose. Those 2 free agents, it'd be a little tricky.
Yeah.
But now I think. Sorry, I just want to bring one more team.
Go ahead.
Which is the Broncos.
Oh, the Broncos.
God.
What an interesting
Because
scenario there.
they're obviously
Broncos
losing
country.
Russell Wilson. Broncos country. They're not riding anymore. Not riding Russ
They're
anymore.
not riding the Russ train anymore. Listen, my dad's a Broncos fan. He's in shambles right now. There's a lot of talk with the Broncos maybe trading up to get a quarterback. Either Drake May or somehow Caleb Williams. I don't think either of that happens because either the Bears are drafting Caleb Williams or
McDaniels is it McDaniels? Yeah, he's a good option there.
Yeah, I think
Maybe Patriots might get
they
him,
are
but-
in a interesting scenario. They have no cap space because they're gonna have to pay Russell Wilson after they cut him. And not only that, I mean, their pick is good enough to draft a quarterback. But what if there's a scenario where Caleb Williams goes 1, Drake May goes 2, Jaden Daniels goes 3, and maybe they get Michael Penix. But at that point, who's to say Michael Penix doesn't go before the 12th pick where the Broncos draft? Right? I mean, there's a lot of teams quarterback needy in those picks. That Atlanta, if they don't get Justin Fields, I mean, they might draft Michael Penix, right? So
Can you read me the order of the picks?
yeah. Even 11's the Vikings. They could draft Michael Penix. Number
I
1,
mean, Commanders, right? Like
number 1's the Bears. Number 2's Washington. Number 3's Patriots. 4's Cardinals. 5's Chargers. 6's Giants. 7's Titans. 8's Falcons. 9's Bears. 10's Jets. 11's Vikings. And then Broncos at 12.
I mean, so many of those teams are because the tight ends, right? I'm assuming they're going to ride it out with Levis for now, but if someone falls to them, I can see them taking someone. The Commanders, I don't think they're that comfortable with Sam Howell, so I think they're more likely to draft Marvin Harrison, but
They dug themselves in such a hole with that Russell Wilson contract. It's actually crazy.
I know.
How many years?
I don't get.
Are they still
Listen,
paying him?
it's gonna be. I think when they cut him, it's half. So it's technically he has 2 more years of contract. So they're only paying him for another year.
I don't support them cutting.
Listen,
Russ,
I am so against the Russ cut. It's crazy. You want to ask one guy who supports Russell Wilson? It's me right here. I'm Baker, Russ, and Goff. I will stand on the mountain and defend those 3 quarterbacks. Russell Wilson is a great quarterback in the NFL. He had 27 touchdowns this year with Denver, and that's without the 2 games that he was benched. This guy can compete still. He was bad last year. I'm not going to deny it. This year he was good, and he kept the Broncos in games. The issue is not Russell Wilson. The issue is that defense. They have no pass rush. I mean, quarterbacks were sitting there for 30 seconds looking for a receiver. The issue is not Russell Wilson. It's clearly the pass rush. And the fact that they haven't seen that and now they're going to cut Russ is bizarre to me.
What team do you want him to go
It just
to?
feels like.
What team I want Russ to go to? I think Russ would be really nice in Atlanta. I would really like Russell Wilson in a Falcons jersey.
I mean, what if the Bears try to get do you think there's a chance the Bears go for a free agent instead of drafting?
Oh God, no chance.
just
No,
draft?
it's either Fields. It's either Fields or Caleb. Fields or Caleb.
There's no
If they're getting a new
reason-
quarterback,
Yeah,
they're gonna
Fields.
draft a quarterback. They're not gonna go. They're not gonna look for a free agent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah, but the Broncos. I mean, let's cover just their pick, number 12 overall. I mean, you're looking at a scenario where if you're lucky, you get Michael Penix. If you're even more lucky, you get Jaden Daniels. More than likely, you're drafting Bo Nix there, and that puts you in an interesting scenario. where you're putting this quarterback in the slot who's not ready, in my opinion. And I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there in Denver. But other than that, I think we can go to one more team here I want to speak about, which is the Buffalo Bills. I mean, this is the talk of the offseason. I mean, there's so many questions here. Obviously, the unfortunate ending in the divisional, they could have won that game easily. Diggs, I mean, he's been a drama queen for the past 2 seasons. I think it's finally time to get that guy out of there. And a lot of old players on defense, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. I mean, I can list a couple more too, but they're in an interesting scenario, expiring contracts. I can go on here with Buffalo. But the difference with Buffalo and other teams, they have Josh Allen. When you have a star quarterback, it does not matter. You can lose everyone. Josh Allen will still be there. And just like the Chiefs, who lost, Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs who lost key players on defense, they still found a way to win not only one Super Bowl, but now playing another one. So it's going to be interesting.
It's I also think the coaching has some questions around it.
Oh, definitely.
I think he almost reminds me of Dwayne Casey, in a way, just the same kind of good runs in the regular season, kind of dominant team, and then just falls apart in the postseason. Can't get over the championship game. Can't even get over that hump. Also, I just think that injuries is a huge issue, right? So
Definitely.
that's been an issue for them. And the aging, I'm not too worried about Buffalo. I think
just with the quarterback.
Yeah, there is worries.
Yeah, there's always
but
concerns.
like the defense is always sold. Like it's not like I don't know. The defense is always like considered some like powerhouse early season, and then there's just so many injuries, and by the end of it, they're just getting blown up in every play. So,
yeah, it's like the teams without a quarterback that you really have to worry about how they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
Teams that don't have a star quarterback. Now, I want to go through each division here, and I want you guys to say, what team you're actually most concerned about in these divisions, right? So, Cowboys, concern level. What's it at? 1 to 10?
I'm not concerned.
Yeah,
they're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna come back next year.
I'm not too
they're
concerned.
gonna go. They're gonna win. Yeah. They're gonna win 12 games, and they're gonna it'll be first round exit.
I'm not too concerned.
It's gonna end in disaster.
Yeah. Other than Mike McCarthy probably being fired next season, there's not much there. Eagles, we talked about.
Yeah, they're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna be a good regular season team. And
Eagles, I'm probably at a 7. I'd say. I'm actually decently concerned with the Eagles. Matthew, your Eagles
7 or 6.
7.
Yeah, 7 or 6.
10 is like you're like terrified.
Yeah. Goodness.
I'd say like
I'd say 7's good.
This team is real interesting. The New York Giants, concern level. Daniel Jones, is he the guy? Is there pieces around him?
But it's like you said they had like 6.
They have 6, and they made the playoffs last year. Oh, they're such a weird team to talk about here. I'm not.
I think. Are you still in on Dable?
I'm still in on Dable, and I'm also still in on Daniel Jones to a certain degree. I mean, they're gonna draft a receiver, probably like Udinese or Neighbors. So I think the Giants will be fine with a receiver there. Darren Waller, if he stays healthy. I mean, Saquon, if he resigns. Definitely Giants. I'm not too concerned, honestly. Like I'll put it at 5, only because Daniel Jones.
They're gonna be like. They're just gonna be. I just think
could go either way.
Not. Yeah. They're not a contender.
No,
definitely not contender by any means.
So,
all right, now
I'm worried in the sense like I can't be that worried about a team that's already bad.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like anything better than 6 wins is a positive for them. The Washington Commanders. Honestly, I'm not concerned at all because they're gonna get
Sam Howell's the guy.
Sam Howell's done so. I really like Drake May. Drake May's a North Carolina quarterback, which is definitely somewhat concerning because Trubisky sucked and Howell sucked. But I think he could be very good for them, and they're gonna retool their rebuild. I mean, they're not good, they're not contending, so you're not really concerned because they're not really falling off. Anything.
They had a great receiver core there. They got rid of a bunch of their defense for some reason.
It's just anything better than what they've been is a positive for Washington. So concern level's literally a 0 because they're so bad.
They fought. Who they hired for the coach?
They hired Dan Quinn, which is really weird because I mean he's a failed head coach with the Falcons, and then Cowboys he allowed. He allowed all those points against the Packers. So I mean I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. But here we go.
Out of that division, I think that division, besides the Eagles, I'm not too worried.
Yeah. Lions in the NFC North. What's the concern level? It's at a 0. Simply put, a 0.
Yeah.
Not even a slightly concerned. They have a bunch of guys on rookie contracts. Ben Johnson's coming back. If they can get a cornerback and a pass rusher there, to pair. They could be the best team in the NFL. They could have won the Super Bowl this year.
I don't know. I do feel like for some reason the only thing I can see, I feel like I know they didn't get to the Super Bowl, but I feel like they're almost gonna have like a hangover. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they took such a big especially like.
Yeah, no, I
he took,
agree.
He took like ego blow
Yeah.
there, and I think it's gonna take them a couple games to get back into the swing of things.
It's also
but
going to be a more
by the time
competitive
the-
division, right? Because the Packers are going to be
Yeah.
more competitive. They're clearly. I mean, that's the next team as I talk about. Packers, no concern at all. I
Bears.
mean, zero concern with the Packers. I mean, Jordan Love is the guy. The rest of the
Great
receivers,
coaching,
great
so-
coaching, great scenario in Green Bay. They're going to contend actually for that division. Vikings, like we said, we're slightly concerned. I'm going to go to 6. Actually, I'm going to go with an 8. What am I talking about? Vikings, I'm very concerned about.
I say 7 as well.
Yeah.
No, I say
The
8.
Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an 8.
7, 8.
We
Yeah.
already talked about that. We're not going to go too much in depth there. Bears, we already talked about. I'm not that concerned.
No.
I'll put them at 4, maybe 3.
They
Vikings.
look like a bright
Yeah, they're
spot,
really
so
bright future.
They can really only go up.
Yeah,
Like,
again, they're a bad team.
they're
that
the
can
best
only go up.
position in the league.
Next division, NFC South. Buccaneers. We just spoke about them as well.
Yeah, we're
Not
good.
concerned.
Buccaneers, not
I'll
too
go with a
worried
2
about.
just because. Yeah, 2 just because Mike Evans, the drama there, but
I'll give it a
Yeah,
4 just because I
yeah.
think if they do lose those guys, which I
Yeah.
think is a very real possibility, then they're kind of screwed.
Hey,
but-
we were just glazing Mike Evans. So I'm
yeah,
gonna
we're
say,
just glazing him.
I'm
Yeah.
saying 2.
You gotta go for it if we're gonna glaze that guy. 'Cause if he's gone, I mean, we're gonna be concerned,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Like Godwin's
that's
not carrying that.
yeah,
team.
Godwin's
that's
not
assuming
carrying
Mike
it.
Evans stays.
Yeah, Mike Evans stays at 0. They're gonna contend. Saints. Goodness me, that's what.
That is one of the
That's an
ugliest
interesting one.
teams because the
It's so
coaching
ugly.
is terrible. The coaching's bad. The quarterback situation is even worse.
Yeah.
Defense is old, is it not? Right?
Yeah, the defense is older.
Kamara's old.
Michael
can't decide
Michael
what
Thomas
kind of
is
team-
leaving. That's for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
he's bad anyways, but.
I think
Taysom
that
Hill's
team.
old.
I think that team's gonna regress.
Now I am.
I'm
You
at
know
like
what?
I'm at like a 9.
For fantasy purposes, I'll mention this guy, Keandre Miller. He's definitely gonna be a top fantasy guy next season
Yeah.
with Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara.
Potentially.
You know, kind of falling off a cliff there if that happens. So definitely talk about him. But yeah, this
Well,
team.
no, like Kamara. It's not a no. Like I was a Kamara owner, and it's not Kamara falling off a cliff. It's the opportunity, and I think that's the issue. That's why I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Kendrick Mills like a stash kind of option. He's not the guy you're gonna start because they have Taysom Hill. They have these
Yeah.
guys that are just running it in, and if they decide to go with Jameis and stuff,
Yeah,
then
that's
running
true.
backs aren't gonna be.
Saints. I'm gonna go to 7. I'm actually decently worried their coaching and quarterback issues.
I'm at 9.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
you know
I'm
what?
at like a 9.
I actually might.
9 and a
You know
half.
what? I'm gonna join you guys on the 9 island there. Actually, I'll join you
They're
guys.
gonna, be
at
they're gonna
9.
be one of the hardest teams to watch
Yeah,
next year.
yeah.
I feel like just
They're-
the Derek
yeah.
Carr show.
Derek Carr
Now-
that is such a hard quarterback to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now,
Disgusting.
the Atlanta Falcons, I mean, if you had asked me a couple months ago, I would have said a 10 just because Arthur
Oh
Smith.
my
But
God.
that demon and his
Arthur
wick
Smith's
spells is gone.
Villain.
He's been banished into the past. I mean, thrown
Yeah.
away, gone forever. I don't. He's like offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh now. Whatever.
The
no
king
one
is
cares.
dead.
King is gone. If they get
Don't
Justin
draft
Fields,
any
they get Russell
Steelers
Wilson.
players next year.
Listen, the Falcons are going to have a good quarterback this year, no matter what. They're either getting Michael Penix in the draft, Justin Fields from Chicago, or Russell Wilson from Denver. And in any of those scenarios, it's better than Desmond Ridder. I'm actually at a 3 with Falcons. Their offense is very deadly.
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, they almost won the
Um,
division if they didn't have bad coaching. The defense is actually pretty good.
This season will be exciting if you're a
Yeah.
Falcons fan. They're gonna finally, hopefully, if they have a brain, unlock their stars, Pitts, London, and Bijan. So they're gonna do that. Their defense is good. They're just one of those teams that just need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they're
They're
right
a good
there,
team.
so
They're a good team.
they could win the division.
Now Carolina.
Oh my god.
Jeez, I can't.
How can you get worse?
I mean, they're just the worst team in the NFL. I mean, it's a 0. The worry is at 0.
And they don't have it. The worry. No, the worry is at like 11 because it's like, not only it's like usually bad teams get a good pick. They don't have a pick because they traded it and like they can't do anything. Their pick belongs to Chicago.
It is an absolute
So they got
disaster.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, listen, I'm not
Adam
even.
Thielen was already
Yeah,
old as.
Their defense is
fucking-
terrible. Brian Burns is leaving, obviously. I mean, their defense is
Yeah.
terrible. Everything's bad against the Panthers. They're so bottom of the barrel. If you're a Panthers fan, I apologize. You're not going to watch a playoff game for another 2-3
Adam
years.
Thielen might wither away on
Yeah.
the field.
Yeah, like Bryce Young. Listen, I'm actually a Bryce Young supporter. I think people are overvaluing CJ Stroud
Yeah.
just in this scenario he's in. He's a great CJ Stroud's a star, but Bryce Young could absolutely be a star still. I mean, it's his first season. He's a bad scenario. He's throwing to Adam Thielen and DJ Chark. Okay, let's get this guy some slack. Get him a receiver. Get him an O-line. Draft a big O-lineman. They have obviously.
Yeah, that's a lot for like no
Yeah.
first round pick.
Yeah, with no first round pick, it's a tough scenario to fix. In
They're
that
gonna be
case,
just as bad.
yeah, I'm going. I
Like,
was gonna say 0
if not
if they had a
worse.
first rounder, but because no first round pick, I'm going at a solid 8.
I don't think that for at least it's not like no they don't because they traded it to
Yeah,
the Bears and the Bears.
It's a bad
yeah,
scenario.
for the
It's a
Bears.
bad scenario.
It's looking
The only
bad, and
bright
I'm just.
spot. Sorry, what are you gonna say?
What are you saying?
I was gonna say the only bright
No, he
spot on
said-
that team this year was Adam Thielen.
Yeah, and
For
that's
fantasy
well-
purposes, that man was a stud this year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Miles
and-
Sanders was the biggest bust I've ever seen.
It was just volume. It was just volume based for Thielen. He was not good. He was just getting
Yeah.
12 targets
No.
a game.
And like,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I actually like Bryce Young must feel like he's like going into work like with everybody he hates. Like it just feels like some terrible
Yeah.
situation. Like everybody hates him. This feels like there's just no. They might be having like 2-3 wins next
Yeah,
year.
and no one's
there's
no one's signing
scare.
there. You're not getting a receiver signed. You think Mike Evans is signing in Carolina with their way his career?
Yeah.
No chance. The Panthers are a 10 on the worry scale. I changed my mind. They're terrible. They have
They're
no.
11.
There's
They're
no
gonna
bright
go
side.
again.
No bright side.
The only bright side is that next year they will get the first round pick.
Yeah, next year
So-
they'll have the number 1
and it
pick.
will be
So
the-
there we go.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
next division, NFC West, we got the 49ers, obviously no worry there at all. I mean, Brock Purdy's making $700K a year, and he's a top 10 quarterback, so it doesn't get better than that scenario. I mean, you have all these star players,
Yeah.
but you also have a very inexpensive quarterback. The worry begins with the 49ers next season, not this season coming up, the year after that, when Brock Purdy needs to get paid, because he's going to get paid an absurd amount of money. And in that scenario, cap issues start to come in. McCaffrey will probably be regressed at that point. But next season, no worry for the 49ers. I think we agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Los Angeles Rams.
They may get that Super Bowl hangover though.
If they win, fuck, we'll see.
If they win.
Yeah.
If they lose too.
Rams. Worry scale 1 to 10.
I'm excited for the Rams, if anything. I feel like they do have some. Okay, well, no, actually, no. I am worried. I'm at like a 6 because
6.
I think
For next
no
season?
because I mean
That's crazy. I'm
Yeah,
not even remotely worried about.
I'll
the
say
Rams.
I'll say okay. I'll say I'm in the middle. I'm at 5 because I'm conflicted. They have so much new young talent in Puka and Kyron Williams, right? That's really good. Stafford is still good, but he is injury prone. He's always getting injured.
That's true.
I think. I mean, Aaron Donald. I don't even know how he's still.
He's gonna retire.
Is he? Yeah, he's
Yeah, I think
retiring.
he's retired this year.
The defense is lacking, and Cooper Kupp is obviously regressed. So I mean, like the Puka's basically
I mean,
replaced
like, hey,
him, but,
listen, there's
I
slight
think the Rams
regression.
will be very similar to this year.
Listen, there's slight regression, but Puka's obviously an upcoming star. Stafford's still a borderline top 10 quarterback. I mean, they have the pieces still to make a run. I mean, this season they actually look like a pretty solid team. So I think they'll be similar.
I'll
as
be
last
at
season.
4. You've convinced me.
Yeah, I'll go to 4 with you as well. I think they're gonna have some.
I was
issues.
saying I am excited to watch. Like,
Yeah,
they're a team
like,
I
there's
do
always
like.
issues, but I mean, they have some pieces still that can get them some
They just are getting old.
wins. Yeah, and the old age is gonna be a factor. I mean, but for now, I'll put
They just
them.
get lucky there. Able to bring some young
I'll
guys.
put them
in.
at
Matt
4.
Stafford's another one of those guys that you'll have to see win.
Yeah, I mean, we love
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's in that Goff Baker
Yeah.
category with me. That I just love those kind of quarterbacks. Seattle Seahawks worry scale.
I'm
Matthew, want to
I'm
start
pretty
this one?
worried.
What's your worry scale,
Yeah.
buddy?
For the Seahawks, I mean, I'm worried. I mean, Gino didn't like. I mean, Gino made the All Star or not the All Star, the
That
Pro
doesn't
Bowl.
mean anything.
He
That doesn't
was like,
mean
I know,
yeah,
I mean,
we'll get to
yeah.
that. Listen, we're gonna
It
get to
doesn't
that
mean much.
soon.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a
soon.
bit. But like, I mean, I don't see the team winning like anytime soon. Like, I don't see them like getting over the hump.
Yeah, I know.
Like in
Listen,
the-
young
the
stars,
playoffs anytime soon.
young
Coaching
names.
change.
Yeah, coaching
Yeah,
change.
exactly.
Young stars
They're
on
going to take a
defense.
while to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid receiving core still, but the worry scale is definitely at a 5. The quarterback issue is well worth noting in Seattle.
Yeah.
Let's start firing these
defense
off
is
here.
getting
They had a great season last year.
Yeah, I mean they're
You know,
solid, but Cardinals.
Seahawks.
Cardinals are honestly at 1. I'm not that worried. I think that they're gonna get either Marvin Harrison at that number 3 pick, or they'll get a different receiver. But they're gonna have a guy for Kyler Murray to pass to. And
Well, Hollywood's a free agent.
yeah, I mean that Paris Johnson guy they drafted last year's a stud, great tackle. I'm gonna assume they're gonna draft more defensive pieces. I'm not that worried. Cardinals, honestly, I'll put it at a 1. I mean they're bad. They're
I mean,
so
can't be
bad.
They'll improve.
really worried
Yeah,
about.
They'll improve.
they're
from
gonna
last
improve.
season.
It's one of those
But
teams where it's like they have their
Yeah.
first, so they're gonna improve, but they're gonna be bad still. No other way to put it.
They can only go up from here.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's go to the AFC here. AFC East, Buffalo Bills, we talked about them already. My worry scale is actually probably a 7. Sorry.
Maybe a 6.
Yeah, 6, 7, just because the defensive issues. The Miami Dolphins.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like,
weird
I
team.
just think there is question marks because it's like McDaniel. Okay, I think McDaniels is overrated.
McDaniels, I'm going
I
to
think
say this now. He's an offensive coordinator. He's not a head coach.
Yeah.
He's great.
He outthinks himself.
Yeah.
And constantly makes the wrong calls when it's so simple. You have Tyreek Hill, you have these stars, and he's trying to do like kind of tricky play. I feel like he's constantly trying to like prove that he's like this new mind or something. And he's like Billy Bean out there, and like, and like I think I mean I am more excited about the Dolphins than I am worried. It comes down to Tua. I just think he's almost like Fields, where he's very hit or miss. And constantly making dumb mistakes, but I'm very excited for Achane. I think he's gonna be a star next year. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, both gonna be great still. There's a lot of just the offense will be.
The
great.
worry is
Most
probably
of
a
it's
3 just because McDaniels. That's where I'll go there.
The defense is whatever. They could get some signings.
Yeah, they're gonna get better there.
So yeah.
All right.
The coaching I'm a little worried about.
Patriots. Matthew, what's the worst scale at?
Super Bowl, baby. Come on.
Get out of here.
Patriots, I mean, like, they're going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I know. The Patriots had a 0 because they're so bad. It's like anything better than last season is a positive.
Like I said about the Cardinals, like they can only go up from here.
Yeah, it's
Belichick gone.
Yeah,
end of an era.
it's a unanimous
It's
decision.
literally a fresh start.
Yeah, 0 for the Patriots. Baltimore Ravens. What's the worst scale at? I mean,
I don't go to the Patriots for a second.
No one cares. No one cares for the New England Patriots.
I want to talk about the Patriots.
No
We talked
one
about 49ers. They had nothing. The 49ers had nothing to talk about.
There's not much to talk about the Patriots.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
I think there is something to talk about.
Okay,
I think there is something to talk about.
Okay.
Because the narrative on the Patriots is like, oh, they've had their time, like they're done. You know what I mean? Like they've been winning. Now they're shit, and I agree they're shit. But it's like, just because like people have seen them be under the impression just because they were good for so long, that just means that like now they've completely regressed and they've been terrible. And it's like their defense was like amazing last year. Their defense was amazing.
God.
It was.
It was solid. It was solid, and they have a lot of old guys on defense. Okay, they were mediocre.
There was a stretch. There was a stretch when they had the least amount of points allowed for like 4 weeks straight in the middle of the season.
I don't care for the Patriots that much.
I mean, yeah, they had a few games where like the score was just super low the entire game.
They're an irrelevant team.
They constantly did that. A couple of wide receiver signings in a quarterback drafting, and then there's some new minds on offense. I think that this team could surprise people. Not this year, but I think it's not like some like, oh, we're gonna be trashed for like a decade. You know?
No, they'll come back. They've already been bad for
we're
a year
a good
or two.
organization. Like we're not gonna, be probably ready forever.
Right,
but anyways,
Baltimore Ravens.
Jets.
For the Jets actually. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
New York Jets worry scale. It's at a 0. Because I think Aaron Rodgers comes back and they figure it out. Robert Saleh, I think maybe I'll say 2. I'll say 2 just because Robert Saleh. I'm not worried about Rodgers. We're not getting a Rodgers debate right now. I'm not worried about him. He's still Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not worried about him. I'm just worried. Like, I hope he's good, but we didn't even see him play. Like,
I think
he was already regressing the year before.
Okay, I'll put it at a 3 then, just because you are right. Robert Saleh is questionable as a coach, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't played in a year, and he's almost 40. So I'll put it at a 3.
Brees Hall says he's the best.
Yeah, he says he's the best running back in the league. He's gonna have an All-Pro season next year. So let's see it, buddy.
I believe he's top 5, but
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, with Rodgers back,
he could definitely be deadly.
With Jets next year.
Fantasy, maybe skill, but we'll see.
All right. Baltimore Ravens. God, I mean, Lamar Jackson, can he win playoff games? That's really the only concern there. The rest of that team is young and good. Ravens, I mean, I think it's going to be tough for them in this division now with Joe Burrow coming back and Deshaun Watson and just even other teams coming back from the AFC, like, they're going to get their quarterbacks back, right?
I think Deshaun Watson's a negative thing coming back.
I mean, like, no, because you look at, like, I mean, the Steelers might get a quarterback upgrade. I mean, the Raiders might get, like, all these AFC teams might get a quarterback upgrade. And in that scenario, it negatively affects the Ravens. It's going to be hard to win.
The Chargers are going to improve. We'll get into that. But like,
Burrow back is going to be a question. That's going to be...
But just the Ravens... Sorry, the Ravens as a team...
Yeah, it's at a 2.
I don't see them regressing.
Maybe even a 1. I mean, I think they're fine. Lamar Jackson MVP, no issues there. Only issues, Joe Burrow.
I think Flowers will... he has some fuel to train over this season. Bengals, you want to know
Bengals will go now, yeah. I mean...
Matthew, you want to know?
Yeah, Matthew, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not worried about the Bengals? No. I don't think that... Like, I mean, they had a
well,
mid-season.
T. Higgins is a free agent.
Yeah, T. Higgins is the only question there, right? Other than that, I mean... They're pretty fine.
But yeah, I mean, they have Joe Burrow. As long as he stays healthy.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing as Josh Allen. You have a top 3 quarterback, and you have a top 3 receiver. No issues. I'm at a 0 with the Bengals. Leave T. Higgins. I don't care.
I'm at like a 1
Higgins, yeah. He's one of those guys I think will leave.
Yeah,
you know,
but it's not going to be a big deal, in my opinion. Browns. Browns, no issues. I mean, Deshaun Watson comes back; they'll probably be the same. I think
Nick Chubb is a huge issue.
Yeah, no issues.
Because
that is true. The same knee that he already messed up.
This is second time.
Yeah.
No one comes back from that.
But even then, without Nick Chubb, they won 11 games. So I mean, coaching and their system is working well for them, right? I mean, Jerome Ford's obviously still pretty good, and I think Deshaun Watson. I think he's better than Joe Flacco. That's not ridiculous to say. I think he can still be a promising quarterback for them. Yeah. So I'll put it at a 1. Honestly, maybe even a 0. Steelers.
Yeah, I think they'll be similar.
Steelers are really weird because they need a rebuild.
Arthur Smith has entered the building.
I think Mike Tomlin is holding this team back from what is a much needed rebuild with a mediocre season every single year. They have no quarterback. They're not going to get a quarterback. I mean, there's no one they're going to be able to get. Their pick's too low. And there's no free agent signing there. I mean, you might get Russ if you're lucky or Justin Fields, but the Steelers are in a weird position. I'm at a 6. I think Mike Tomlin's holding this team back. He's making them mediocre every year, and it's a problem because they need to start thinking about a rebuild eventually. They're not winning.
To just I think they have so many stars there like Warren. And I just feel like Tomlin's so stuck with these guys.
I know he's such a classic coach. Their secondary is god awful too. I mean, they just allow passing yards like it's. I know they can be buffet over there. I mean, it's a disaster. The Steelers, I'm at a 7. I think they have really big problems to figure out in the offseason.
Yeah, Trubisky's not the guy. It's not Trubisky, sorry. What's his name?
I was gonna say, being mid every year is the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, I know. It's the worst scenario to be in.
You're never gonna improve, unless you draft some late stud.
Well, the Rams, the Rams are able to get Puka and Kyron. And
but
stuff,
those are rare.
Yeah. I mean the Steelers, they're getting these guys like Pickens and Warren, but they're not and they also have just a culture issue. These guys are such divas a lot of the time. I mean Chargers. I feel like Chargers are an interesting team to talk about.
Yeah, I guess we'll have the AFC West now. Chargers. I mean Jim Harbaugh. That's obviously the biggest. I mean I'm excited for the Chargers. To be honest with you, Justin Herbert's a good coach now. Keenan Allen will be healthy. Mike Williams will be healthy.
Comes down to I think
Eckler's gone. Yeah, but I mean I think running backs are replaceable. Unfortunately, that's the truth of the running back position. And in that scenario, they'll find a replacement for him, whether it be free agency or the draft. And the Chargers will be a team to be excited for. I'm at about a 1. I'm not that excited. I'm not that.
It's just injuries.
I'm not. Injuries. I'm not that worried about them at all. I think I'm really excited for them. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Herbert is definitely capable of
100%. Herbert is a star.
I'm still people have kind of forgot about Herbert, but they just kind of took him out of this category where he's compared with Joe Burrow.
He's unreal.
I think he's still on that Joe Burrow
unreal.
level. He's so good.
Chiefs.
I wouldn't say Joe Burrow level.
Yeah, I think he is on that level.
I think that's a big debate. I mean,
Herbert
or Burrow. You put Herbert on the Bengals with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I don't think you're seeing that big of a difference. To be honest with you.
No.
Chiefs, no worry at all. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to talk about the Chiefs anymore. I'm done with the Chiefs. Screw that team. I'm locked in for Sunday. I don't care about this dumb roster and this dumb quarterback and this dumb girlfriend and all this nonsense. We're not talking with them. I'm worried that I'm just gonna build such hate for them that I'll never be able to watch a football game with the Chiefs again. That's my worry scale. It's at a 10. Yeah. I'll resent them. That's it.
The sad thing is, I mean, they are losing. I mean, they could lose Chris Jones, the guys here, big names in free agency, but they're not. I mean, they are great players, but they're not integral to the.
Yeah, they're not. It's not. It's Patrick Mahomes. He'll figure it out.
It comes down to Mahomes.
He'll figure it out.
And the scary thing is, there's so many wide receivers out there, from Mike Evans to Michael Pittman to T. Higgins.
Listen,
I think they will get.
My worry scale is that they're going to somehow get better and maybe win the Super Bowl this year. That's my worry scale. 10 on that. Broncos. We talked about them already. Obviously, salary cap issues.
Raiders.
They're
interesting. I hate O'Connell.
Listen, I mean,
he's just a little punchable baby.
Yeah, the Raiders.
O'Connell's just a baby like Derek Carr.
He's got that. What's he going on?
I think he wears a diaper under his pants.
What's going on with the mustache?
I don't know. But he looks like a pedophile.
Have you guys seen Super Troopers before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, the one guy from Super Troopers. That is what McConnell looks like. I mean, put that.
Oh,
on.
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, this is a TikTok. This is a TikTok waiting to happen. This guy looks just like Farva from Super Troopers. I mean, it is incredible how accurate. I mean, Farva's obviously very fat, so that's the only difference. But I mean, he looks identical to this guy. I mean, it is.
He just looks like a park ranger.
Yeah, it's a mirror image. I mean, that mustache is what's going on there. He looks like he's 12 and 30 at the same time. It's concerning. It's really concerning.
Yeah. And as far as his actual football play,
Yeah, he's not that good. He's not that good.
No.
Can we just say that he's not that good at quarterback?
The only good thing about it is people are so distracted with his face that they forget to actually.
Now the good
do
thing
ball
is
up.
the Raiders are not sold completely on him. Obviously, they're obviously shopping for Wilson. They're shopping for Fields.
Still got Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, what's the
Yeah,
story with
no.
like,
Jimmy Garoppolo is having fun in Las Vegas right now. He's probably going to the strip club every single night. He's getting paid $20 million to sit on the bench.
He deserves it.
If they need him, he'll step in and play. But for the most part, he's sitting on the bench, making $20 million a year in a mansion in Las Vegas, getting all the stripper play he wants. Jimmy Garoppolo's living the life right now. He's living the life right now.
Yeah,
He's won a
it's
Super Bowl
like
already.
the-
He's a Super Bowl
they-
champion. He's been to a Super Bowl already.
Yeah.
And this guy doesn't do anything anymore. He's won life.
The Raiders have
um,
Devontae Adams. I mean, like you get a
Yeah,
semi
That is
decent.
true.
You get
Yeah,
a
I know.
semi decent like quarterback on the
Real
team.
real
like,
talk. If they can figure out the quarterback, the defense is solid. They have Javonte
Josh
Adams,
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs.
They
Yeah.
still got
They have the
Sean,
foundation.
Sean,
Yeah.
Crosby. They got people on defense. And I think the new coach is an improvement.
Yeah, I
obviously,
think
so.
Eternal Pierce is good. So Raiders. I mean, my
So,
worry
yeah,
my worry
they have
level.
exciting culture.
Honestly, I'll probably put it at a 4 just because Farva at quarterback. Other than that, I mean, it's not that. It's,
also,
I'll
great
come get
season from Jacoby Myers.
yeah, he had a good year. He's really going to be an interesting piece next season.
So
AFC South Texans, super excited. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
they might even sign a guy like T Higgins because why not? Give C Stroud on the star. No
It's
worries
That'd be
there.
crazy.
Rooney's-
actually.
Like, they
No
can't even fill
worries.
their like they can't even get them all out
It is
there.
a 0. It is a 0 on the worry scale. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not.
They're
worried.
probably the most exciting team.
100%.
Yeah.
Uh,
If T Higgins went there, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
If they were gonna
Jaguars.
get a running back, that'd be nice.
Jaguars. Matthew, what are your thoughts on the
They are
Jaguars,
worried,
buddy?
yeah.
What is going on
Jaguars. I'm worried for him. Trevor Lawrence. I don't like Trevor Lawrence already, but
there?
That's pretty
is he the guy? Is Trevor Lawrence really the guy to bring them to the
That is the
promised land? No,
question.
I don't think so. He had a pretty mid-season this year. He had a good first half, I believe, but after their bye, they just kind of lost it and ended up having a really mid-season. So,
There
I
were
mean, obviously
injuries.
there's injuries. But yeah,
I
I'm worried
just
for
don't
him.
think. Well, I mean, Josh Allen, not Buffalo Bills Josh Allen, but
The better Josh Allen.
The better Josh Allen is a free agent. The edge on Jacksonville.
Pro Bowler.
And that's, he's a huge part of their defense. So that's an issue. I don't see their offense regressing.
No, I think the offense. I mean, it's just going to be. It was a bad year, but I think they figured it out. I think the Jaguars will be a team to contend that division next
They
year.
learned what it
Yeah.
was like to win. They're almost like Andrew in fantasy. I mean, they learned what winning was like. They got
Exactly.
tasted it,
Exactly.
And then they just fumbled.
Now Jaguars.
So-
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is definitely a question mark. Is he the guy? And I think he's going to prove next year he is the guy. I still believe Trevor Lawrence. I don't love him like I do Baker Mayfield. I'm not going to say that I believe in him that much, but I think he can still be a guy. My worst scale is at a 7. I'll be honest.
I think they
it's
should like
concerning.
unlock
Yeah.
him. I feel like they're kind
Yeah.
of like managing him.
Yeah,
Almost like
let him
Burrow
play.
the first couple
Let him
seasons.
play. Let him just throw. Let him whip the ball downfield. He's a great
Like I
player.
remember Burrow, they kind of like, ooh, we're not gonna let him pass him. And then
Yeah.
once they unlocked him, it was just like, you just.
All right, let's
Yeah.
fire off these last two teams, which are definitely interesting to talk about. Colts and Titans. Colts worry scale. Richardson
I'm not
comes
worried.
back. Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm at a 0. I think.
Pittman leaving, I'd be worried.
Yeah,
I'd be
Pittman's
worried for
resigning.
him.
He's gonna resign though, and I think Richardson comes
I
back.
forgot like how good Richardson was.
This
at the beginning
division's
of
gonna be
the
interesting. I
season.
mean, you're gonna have 3 teams that are gonna contend this division. This division was the worst division arguably a couple years ago, but now it's a great division. Texans, Jaguars, and Colts, all top teams.
Yeah, I don't think I am excited for Richardson, but I just don't. He is a little stupid. You know, he got himself
Yeah,
injured multiple
he's gotta
times.
stop. He's gotta stop throwing on the shoulder.
He
Yeah, he has
does
to
it-
stop
he's
running
not
head
like
first
some-
into
Yeah,
other
buddy,
people.
you're not a running back. Okay, slide.
He
Be-
was
be
good
a
for
big man.
fantasy, but I don't know how good he will be
Yeah,
as
we'll
far
see.
as winning football.
Even then, you got
games,
Gardner Minshew. He's shown he can win. I mean,
Yeah,
not a big deal.
yeah. So I'm not
Titans.
too worried. They got good coaching.
Yeah, I'll go to 3 on the Colts there, and Titans.
I'm extremely worried for the
Oh
Titans.
God, I mean, this is one of those scenarios where it can only get better. It can only get better. I mean, can Will Levis perform?
I think it's gonna get worse. I
I
mean,
don't think it can get
they
worse.
were still
They're
relying on
5
Derrick
wins,
Henry and
5-6
DeAndre
wins
Hopkins to
this
win
year.
games. Yeah, they were relying on Derrick Henry and
Derrick
DeAndre
Henry's
Hopkins
gone,
to get
okay.
those wins. Those guys are dirt old.
Will
like,
Levis, I like Will Levis. I think they bring in another receiver, or I think they go Joe Alt probably at tackle, and then maybe receiver in the second round. And I'm not that worried about the Titans. I don't know why the worries coming there. They're a bad team. I mean, like it's like the Cardinals. Like It's,
They have a
it's
new
only,
coach.
It's only gonna
They
get better.
have
It's only gonna get better.
an old roster. So
They are old. But
I think they're gonna win less than last year, and
I
it's
don't
gonna be
know.
a mess.
I think it'll be the same season as last season, and they're going to be rebuilt for a couple of years. If you're a Titans fan, it's the same as a Panthers fan. Buckle up. It's going to be quite the journey.
Yeah, they'll probably have a very similar.
They're not
season,
winning this
same
division.
thing.
They're not winning this division for 4+ years. So that's the truth. So
Yeah. Well, I
Buckle
think
up.
we've squeezed
every
every piece
ounce of NFL.
of the NFL. Okay, we're almost at an hour. Let's quickly cover the WWE here. I think. I mean, yeah, I think so. Let's just give some context here if you don't watch WWE. The Rock is back, and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is back and has shaken the wrestling world as he has pretty much ruined every ongoing storyline to fuel his ego.
Yep.
The original plans was Cody Rhodes was most likely going to rematch Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and complete his story, and Seth would be fighting CM Punk. Obviously, CM Punk got hurt, so that's unfortunate there. But when that happened, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna bring The Rock back," and The Rock's back, and now Cody is fighting Seth in WrestleMania, who he has already beat 3 times, so there's no tension there, and everybody is mad, and everybody blames The Rock. And what are your guys' thoughts?
I know we have some differing thoughts in this on this situation.
I absolutely love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
why the
kinda,
complaints. I mean, only people who don't like it are the nerds. I mean, can we just
The
say
nerd.
that?
The nerds.
Can we? If this,
Only the nerds.
listen,
The nerds pay their bills.
if this clip goes on TikTok, if this gets clipped on TikTok, okay, and I get attacked by a horde of WWE nerds, I don't care. I'll fight. I'll fight on that hill.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I mean, come on. Like, are we like, have we lost the purpose here? This guy makes so
purpose?
much money for the WWE. It's unexplainable. And the old heads, which they might be losing, are all going to come back and watch. I mean, I know people who are older who watch WWE and who are ecstatic about this because they've watched The Rock since they were kids. I mean, like, it's Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I mean, can we stop this nonsense? He's
Yeah,
not come in.
Luca. Let me give you. Sorry, I'll give you a hypothetical here because you're saying he makes money for the WWE. It's The Rock, right? Let me just give you a little situation here. I think this is similar to what this would be. Imagine the MCU has been building to a villain like Doctor Doom for like 4 years, right? And then they're about to have their big battle with Doctor Doom, and then Thanos just comes back and kicks all their asses out of nowhere with no build up and no storytelling, and just like ruins all the build up. I think
That's exactly
that
what it is.
but they're like, oh, but Thanos is popular. He makes money.
We're not
Just to get people
comparing
talking.
Thanos
It's
to
not good
Dwayne the Rock
storytelling.
Johnson. It's not
It's
the
not
same.
good
It's not the
storytelling.
same.
Look.
It's not the same. It's
Look.
not the same.
I'm just saying they're two
Money-wise-
notable people.
Money wise, obviously this is the good move for if you want to make money, which obviously the WWE wants to make money. But storytelling purposes, it makes 0 sense. They've been building up the story for a whole year since last WrestleMania, and obviously people are pissed because they wanted to see him finish the story, and the Rock just comes in. He's like, no, I want to have a match at WrestleMania with he hasn't worked a single day.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes is there
just-
every
yeah.
single week. He deserves it.
Yeah, he's been grinding.
The Rock
And it's
put
not
in
just
2 decades of working the
Yeah, okay, but
Yeah, it's not the
that
last
was 2
decade.
decades ago. He's washed. He puts up a mediocre match at WrestleMania at
Yes.
best. A
And
10-minute mediocre
He's
match.
not gonna lose. His ego is too
Wah,
big to lose.
wah, wah.
No. And he's going to get injured in the first 5 minutes of the match
Yeah.
and then he's
Listen,
going
Like,
to
you
I don't
can't. You
care.
have to commit.
Listen,
you can't go to the Hollywood.
you gotta understand too. Like, I think this is, you guys are clearly passionate about this. Actual WWE fans are pissed. Now, you know what? I agree with them. Good for them. They're pissed off. I mean, like, I would, if I actually, if I
Every
loved,
fan is pissed. Every fan.
if
is
I
pissed.
loved, if I was a
For the
fan of
most
WWE
part,
stuff,
90%.
if I loved the WWE, I'd be pissed off right now. I think they're rightfully, these nerds are rightfully upset. And I agree with them. Good for them. Okay.
I understand
However,
from a person
a casual
sorry,
fan,
continue.
this is an exhilarating experience. I mean, I was talking to Isaac, and he hasn't watched WWE in a long time, but he's like, oh my God, The Rock's coming back. Like, people are ecstatic about this because it's The Rock. The name is so big, right? And the WWE's gonna pull in all these casual viewers again to watch this fight. I mean, like I said, financially, it's the best decision they can make. And people who aren't that engaged in WWE might watch it a little bit more now. Might see what's going on. What's the build up? They got 2 months to build this fight up. And I'm assuming The Rock's going to be on SmackDown a couple more times before WrestleMania. And just the engagement from the
He's gonna get
casual
booed out of the
fans is going to
building.
be there. And the moral story is, listen, I understand why passionate fans are angry, but I fully understand why they brought him back, and I don't think they plan on stopping it.
Yeah, I get it from both sides, but
yeah. Well, I think the Rock. Like I was genuinely like months ago, like before I was really excited about the Rock coming back, and I think that a storyline with him and Roman is like exciting, and I think the family bloodline there and the Rock coming back and like, who do you think you are? You're not like, because Roman's obviously the head of the table now. Rock's like, I'm the GOAT. I'm the guy. I think that's exciting. It's intriguing, but it's the wrong time. It's the wrong time because it's right now. They've been building the story with Cody.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it.
Listen, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. They could have waited another year. I mean, The Rock's not. Like, he's gonna get older, but like, I mean, what's the difference between 55 and 56? I mean, realistically, like, you wait another year, you build a story for an entire year. You can build. What you could do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is you could literally give Cody. You could give Cody the title, okay, and he'll be champion and let him do his thing, and then just build a whole year-long storyline of The Rock and Roman Reigns with no championship on the line, just pride, family pride. I agree with that. I don't think it's a negative thing. But the WWE does not care. They just want money. It's a business. Yeah. It's a business at the end of the day, and they're gonna make a business move. And the Rock makes money.
It doesn't have to be for the title. That match does not have to be for the title. And this is an absolute dream match for all WWE fans, obviously. But
yes. We're excited to see the Rock.
Worst time.
It just at the expense of Cody Rhodes, it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, I mean,
you can see Cody Rhodes' face. Like, he looked so disappointed when he was like,
wham.
And even watching Raw last night, Seth and Cody's segment, it was just like, it was embarrassing because you can tell they both think it's stupid. And it's like, there's no tension between Seth and Cody. They're both face, and just like, they seem like they're just pals, and Seth has really no real motive of like challenging him.
Well,
so that whole like,
I was watching clips on, I think it was Raw yesterday, and McIntyre was out, and he was talking to Cody saying, like, you gotta fight Roman Reigns. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing challenging Seth Rollins right now? And, like, Cody was, like, the fans were, like, chanting, we want Cody, and, like, Cody was, like, giving into it. So I think,
they're saying, like, Rocky sucks and stuff.
I could hear, and then even Seth Rollins went off script and was talking with, like, he's like, I was not expecting this to happen. Like, why are they chanting that?
Yeah, I know.
Everyone knows that that the fans don't want it. The actual WWE fans who are paying for those tickets don't want it. It's the casual fans that they're going to make money from. Me and Isaac. Guys,
I've never seen that outroar.
I think there's
like in a live show.
There might be a world where they say, you know what, let's back the track here. You know, let's see.
Well, that happened 10 years ago. That happened 10 years ago at WrestleMania 30. Like, Daniel Bryan was just so over at that point, and he wasn't in the main event, and people were rioting for Daniel Bryan to be in the main event, and like they replaced, I believe, Triple H, who was supposed to be an Evolution triple threat, which would have been crazy in the main event of WrestleMania, and they took out Triple H and put Daniel Bryan just because the fans wanted it. So this is a very similar situation.
Yeah,
now.
I could see.
I
could see a world. I could see a world where they make it a triple threat, but that would just ruin the hype of Roman Reigns and The Rock, and it's like,
yeah,
that'd be the worst situation, honestly.
It's It's such a stupid
just pick
scenario.
one, but like,
listen, like I said, whatever the nerds say, I don't care. The Rock is The Rock. My final statement is, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. That's my final statement on this topic. I will not speak on this any further.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, comment them, and I will respond to your
comment. If you have any
comment.
questions, don't ask Luca.
Yeah, don't ask me. I'm a Rock. Listen, I'm a Dwayne The Rock Johnson meat rider. Okay, I got all the Rock's.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Rock tank top right now. I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy. I love The Rock. I wear the Project Rock Under Armour stuff all the time.
I used to love The Rock. As someone who follows movies a lot, I think just seeing him in the Ego and that world, the movies and Fast and Furious, I've kind of lost some respect for him. I think he's a bit of a clown, but I still get hyped to see him in WWE. And he's still funny and genuine for the most part, so I think he's a good guy, but he's got a bit of an ego.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyways, do you guys, we're over an hour now. I mean, we could get into the NBA news next week if you wanted.
Yeah, we don't.
Or
that's not really
wanted,
that's not really that needed right now.
I don't think it's that. I really have nothing to say,
Yeah,
but I think we all kind of agree about the 65-game rule. If anything changes about that, we'll get into it next week. But, I mean, do you guys have anything else to say, or do you want to start wrapping up?
I have no other comments.
Yeah, I gotta eat dinner. I'm parched right now.
I'm also hungry and parched.
Yeah. So, anyways, please comment your guys' thoughts on which teams will be struggling in this offseason and or which teams will have the best off seasons, worst off seasons, and which teams will be struggling next year for the NFL. And also, we'd love to hear your take on the current fiasco going on at the WWE. And yeah, so we'll be back next week with episode 4. Obviously, huge topic.
Yeah, I mean
the
that's gonna
Super
be.
Bowl this weekend.
I may or may not be on the podcast. That is to be determined.
49ers fan over there, so he's either gonna be the happiest person alive, or
Not
he
sure
might not be alive anymore. And yeah, those are the two options.
Yeah,
So,
only two options.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's exciting. I'll be watching that this weekend. Obviously,
This is a
maybe
record,
we'll.
We
Yeah,
broke-
new record. Every episode has been getting
Yeah,
longer.
next episode, an hour and a half. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah.
And I also, maybe we can have a segment next episode. We could just talk about the best Super Bowl commercials
Oh, that's gonna be
Uh,
funny. Yeah.
or a trailer,
That's gonna be actually.
biggest surprise moment, stuff like that. Cover the halftime show.
The kick of destiny.
Anyways, yes, the long way to kick a destiny.
Will the Gronk make the
Uh,
kick?
Yeah, Rip Carl Weathers, kick a
Yeah,
destiny
yeah.
star.
Yeah, rip.
But yeah, so we're gonna wrap up here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
out.
Oh boy.